Broadcasting from Boston, Mass. KOPProductions.com. Counterculture Radio. Open your mind.
Sit back, relax, and roll up one of your finest, because now it is time for Live with the King of Pot.
Welcome back for another edition of Live with the King of Pot, episode number 4. Well, we've done a lot more than that. When we were on regular radio back in the day, we did about 25 to 30 shows with them. Off my website, my home, thekingofpot.com. I suggest you check it out. It's got all my exclusive videos I've done within the movement in the past 15 years. Over there, you can check out so much of my older radio shows that we hope to get back up at some point on this new KOP Productions Counterculture Radio Network. What we would like to do is go actually 24 hours a day and put up with the shows that we have. As you know, we've got Rich Fu, Perceptions of a Madman. Great show. Want you to check it out. He's done about 5 shows so far, and each one of them very, very good. Very good listening. Very different from what you'll hear on ordinary radio. That's what's so good about internet radio. We really can delve in because our sponsors are pretty cool with us. We don't have big corporations supporting us. We have people like you that support us by telling other people. Now that I got that over with, let's talk about tonight's show. We've got a great show lined up tonight. Tonight we're bringing on Mike Can. He's a leading activist in the Boston area for marijuana. 2 years on the MassCan Normal board as president here in Boston, Massachusetts. He is now on his own with his own show that he does on Unregular Radio on Saturdays. 2 Hotheads Where Activism Happens at 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Unregular Radio on Saturdays. Check it out. And he is going to come on our show, and he is going to talk about our newly drafted Department of Health medical marijuana law. I've looked it over. The few pages that they did release made me look a little further, so Mike knows the further part of it. You know, the 45 pages that's contained within the thing that was released to the news and media. He's going to go into it a little bit more. He's going to tell you what he doesn't like about it and what he does like about it. And our main guest tonight is Massachusetts medical marijuana attorney Valerio Romano. Yes, we have a medical marijuana attorney here in Boston, Mass. He's got an extensive background defending medical marijuana patients in state and federal court out of California, but now he's practicing his law here, and he's going to be here to help medical marijuana patients as the cops and the police and everybody around starts to understand that we have this law and they need to respect this law and not be selective in how they enforce their law. So we're going to bring on Mr. Romano, and we hope to take some phone calls later on in the show where you will be able to call in and ask a question to Mr. Romano. If you live in the Boston area and maybe you've had some issues going on, you got your medical marijuana license, and maybe you've had an encounter with the police already, and you want to share that with us, whether it be good or whether it be bad, you'll be able to call into our studio line, which is 401-626-4420. That's 401-626-4420. Don't call now. And if you are listening to us on replay, please do not call, because there will be nobody at the studio. But if you are listening to us live, then we encourage you to call. Here's a chance to talk to an attorney free of charge. You got any information that you want to share with us? Like I said, call in. You don't have to tell your full name, your real name, or whatever. This is internet radio. Nobody's going to know what you look like on the other side. So with that, I just want to say, stay tuned. Say hello to my wife, Valerie, who will be joining me in a few minutes in the studio. She will fill us in on some news that's happening within the medical marijuana community here and nationwide in the world. We will touch upon anything that might be happening that we think you should know. And remember, bi-weekly. We are going to be going bi-weekly with this show. Our show night is usually on a Thursday evening. We are broadcasting tonight on a Tuesday evening because we wanted to make sure to get guest that we have, Mr. Romano. We think that it'd be a great service to our fans to be able to talk to a medical marijuana attorney free of charge on this program. The new medical marijuana law here, we got a lot of questions. I know I do. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with Mike Can on the KOPProductions.com Counterculture Radio Network. A big shout out to Dank Bay, my friend Antoine out at Dank Bay. They're hosting our banner. We want to give a big shout out to them, and also to a friend of theirs. You just heard their song, Pooh Say So. Shotty Say She Loved Me. Check it out on YouTube. Just type in POOHSAYSO. And the name of the song is Shotty Say She Loved Me. Pretty good music. Thank you, Antoine, for sending that over. What I want to tell you, folks, is that when we were doing this live show, and you listen to the replay, I know right now, we actually had some technical difficulties when we took Mike Can on, which is our next guest, and we have to now break into his conversation, and I want to set it up. Basically, we're talking to him about the Massachusetts Department of Health's newly drafted marijuana regulations. So we're going to join the conversation now, and we apologize for those difficulties that we didn't get the beginning of it, but there's only probably a couple of minutes missing from it. We're going to pick up right where we started to record again. Thank you.
One caregiver per patient is terrible for patients. We don't have enough caregivers.
No
right
options.
Now. I open.
Yep. No options.
You're going to take away the options. Like if we had a full market of caregivers, maybe that is an end goal to make everything regulated. That would work out. And from a financial advisor's perspective that I used to have as being a stockbroker in the market. You don't want to go to those regulations unless you have a really competitive market, and there is not a competitive market right now. That's what we're trying to set up.
There's no phase in. There's no phase in to these regulations. They're being very harsh at the get-go instead of letting more caregivers come on the market and become available. Have some centers come on market. Phase it in over a number of years. They're not doing that. Exactly. It's right away. Caregivers, one patient.
What is this? What is it?
It's like why are they? Why, they can change these things later. Why are they starting so drastically negative against patients? That's my
right.
A lot of people weighed in too with suggestions on. One person weighed in just yesterday on the email list that I'm on, and we were talking about the doctors because none of us are sure. Like right now, the doctors aren't writing recommendations unless you go to CanAmed, Casco Bay, or one of these, alternative sites.
Right.
And we're worried they're going to take that option away. And if doctors from Mass General and partners aren't willing to sign on a regular doctor, then who are people going to have? How can people get recommendations? And one of the things that I think was a great suggestion was to do, as Rhode Island and some of the other states have done, is add nurse practitioners. Allow nurse practitioners who are licensed, who are respected, to write recommendations as well to open it up.
A nurse practitioner,
Yeah, we should be, on April 19th, the last hearings are 3 different cities, Plymouth, Boston, and one place in Western Mass. So, we have a Facebook group that we want to urge everyone to attend those meetings, especially Boston, because that is where the home of the Department of Public Health is. We're going to be in their offices. I urge I know, King of Plot, you said you were going to go down.
Oh, yes.
I'm going. We have a lot of different, Nikki Smokes is going to go and speak on behalf of her husband and her sister-in-law. And we have a lot of medical patients going down. I urge everyone to attend and testify if you can. If you feel you have something to say, even if you don't feel like testifying, just go and support us. This is a big day. We need to make sure that people know that we don't want it too strict because patients will get left out. And there are other things too, like Sarah Arnold brought up that minors would only be allowed to use medical marijuana for palliative care only 6 months. And it leaves out things like cancer, epilepsy, severe ADD, behavioral issues that we know help teenagers as well.
So once again, taking it out of the physician's hands.
Yeah.
The decision becomes the state. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's frustrating is that we voted 60-something% on this, put all this time into it, and now unelected bureaucrats are all making the rules and basically validating what we voted for. And I'm getting calls. We started this on Facebook. We're definitely like kind of protesting it a bit and trying to get people out. And unfortunately, I don't see Mass Normal joining officially in this. I know a lot of members are. A lot of members want to.
Yeah, I want to know what's Mass Normal's view on this. I haven't seen anything on it.
Officially, they
legalization.
Some of the main, biggest influential voices are saying they only care about legalization.
Full legalization. Right.
And it's like, you guys are politically, I'm going to call them out for lunch. Like, this is legalization. Medical marijuana is legalization. And if we don't speak up as a community and say we don't want this highly regulated and just to shut people out and to have more monopoly control, well, the legalization is going to look exactly the same in 2016. The people who are funding these initiatives, who are running these campaigns, they need to hear from us, and it starts now. So if you really do support legalization and you have a half a political brain in your head, you'd be fighting for patients right now, and I just don't get it.
Mobilize. They should be mobilizing their ranks.
Yeah, and that's really just disappointing. I don't want to speak out against MassCAD because I still think there are a lot of good people there, and I do see, like Catherine Ripken is the clerk of MassCAD, give testimony. I know a lot of former board members and even some current board members are going to this protest. They've RSVP'd, so it's not like everybody, but it's just kind of like I would like to see them step up more. But I think the real concern is Mass Patients Advocacy Alliance, MPAA.
Yeah, tell me about that. What's going on there?
Well, they were behind getting this instated. They've been silent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones who are supposedly going to run this and take care of us for patients, but if I'm one of the top political organizers for marijuana in the state, why haven't they emailed me? Why haven't they called me? Why don't I know what they're asking for, where they stand, what they're fighting for?
Will they be there on the 19th, or are they going to be silent? They've been silent.
Well, apparently they are organizing. They're asking people to come to one of their trainings first to testify on the 19th. Well, I don't have the time to do that. I have one day, and it's the 19th. I'm going to the 19th. I sent an email to the main organizer, Matt Allen, to find out if he should publicly tell me that, because I feel like if we're relying on them, so far they've dropped the ball. They haven't gotten the job done, because if this is their goal and results, then they haven't done what they should be doing.
So you think maybe
from them, publicly they should be speaking out against these regs a little more.
Well, yeah, like I said, I want to see organizations stomping and saying, "Hey, wait a minute, what are you guys doing?" I don't see it, and I don't see the people that helped put this law in getting upset. What is it? Everything's going to be about money again, and we're going to forget about the patients. That's exactly what we're going to talk with Rich later on about. It seems like they're forgetting about the patients.
I know. It does seem like. I mean, I'm not going to say everything's bad in regulation. There are some good things. Like, one of the things I really like is that they're going to have, for low-income patients, the dispensary is going to be required to serve low-income patients with no money. That's awesome. That is what I'd like to see. That leads, kind of the country on the rest of the states. But on a lot of other things, they're missing the boat. So some things are good, and some things are really bad, and especially the way that they're treating the caregiver system, and that's the only system we have right now.
They're really discouraging it. They're discouraging the caregiver system. They want to go to MMTC, medical marijuana treatment centers is what they want to go to. But even that, they're asking for $500,000 to be put in an escrow account to prove that you have the financial ability to run one of these centers. That's a lot of money.
$500,000?
Yeah, who's going to put that up in a bank account and risk having the feds take it?
And have it locked there until the state decides whether or not they're going to even grant you this license.
Or the feds take it, like Mike said.
Or the feds take it.
If you read that statement, they still have to keep that money there.
They have to keep it there.
Always got to be there. And basically that's a ransom for the federal.
It is.
Because our federal government are working.
So they're making.
Sure, that goes like, the treatment centers will cure all this, and that's great, but they're the ones who have the biggest risk from the federal government.
Right, and they're making it prohibitive.
This is from the federal government, so that's why that system always has been working in Rhode Island and Maine. Really, that's what we should be focusing on, and it seems like they're focusing on the other stuff. Disappointing. April 19th, I really hope everybody. I've taken the day off of work. Take the day off of work and go down and testify. I think it starts at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. it starts. So that's 10 a.m. at where? At the Boston State House?
Yeah, let me. I can read it right now. I have it pulled up on my page.
All right, so the listeners will.
Mass Department of Public Health Council Road, 250 Washington Street, second floor. It's at 10 a.m. in Boston.
What are the other locations? Do you know? There's 2 others.
Yep. It's Boston, Plymouth, and Florence, Mass.
Florence? Okay.
Which I believe is in Western Mass, pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, Mikey, really, so you're going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm sure we're going to be covering some video, both of us, on the day's event. So you'll be able to catch it on your website at MikeCan.net as well as mine. Mikey, anything else you want to add to this? Anything else you want to say?
I just urge people to be vocal. There's a time and place to be sometimes silent during campaigns, to work along with campaigns. This is not one of those times. This is the time for patients to come out of the woodwork. And all people, if you support legalization, you should be out for this. This is really an important time to have them here. We know finally what they're trying to do. So let's keep the good stuff and get rid of the bad stuff. Pressure does work. I know this activism. If one person shows up, it's not going to make a difference. If 100 people show up and speak, and we're all saying the same things, that the regulations are too strict, they are going to take note of that, and they are going to change it for us. I know. And if they don't, there's going to be a lot of hoopla and pushback for them to change it later. So we really need to be vocal. That's the most important thing. Is don't let anyone discount your voice. Don't let anyone dissuade you that this is not important or that it will be fixed with legalization in 2016. Let's focus on what's here right here and now, which is helping patients get access to medical marijuana that we voted on. That needs to be number one right now, April 19th.
All right. That sounds good, Mikey. I'm glad you were able to... Go ahead.
I also want to make sure that we mention, too, we're also doing a big event with you.
Oh, yeah. Well, why don't you fill everybody in that's in the Boston area that they can come down to this great event that you got put together?
It's called the Two Hotheads Activism Awards. It's the first annual. It's an awards show with music at Brighton Music Hall. It's a Tuesday night. Starts at 8 p.m. A lot of audience. We're going to have some great speeches. The King of Pot's going to be there, yourself speaking. Frank Capone, myself. Some people from Unregular Radio will be there speaking. We also have Vermin Supreme in the house, presidential candidate, will give a speech.
Oh, cool.
Which is awesome, you know. And then we're honoring we're going to award a bunch of put out a bunch of awards, actually 5 different awards. So we're going to award that night to different people for their activism, covering all different, you know, from marijuana reform to some other issues that we're involved in on our radio show, Two Hotheads, where activism happens. And specifically, we're going to be honoring 2 people with the highest honor that night. One of them has recently passed away, Aaron Swartz.
Yes, yes.
We talked about this, you know, privately. He's basically like the Bill Gates, Steve Jobs of the younger generation for computers. And he did activism, and he committed suicide, passed away this year because of a federal indictment. They were trying to put him in jail for a long time.
Yep.
And, you know, we should have never lost him. This made national, international news. And now there's a bunch of other kids, too, young guys. I call them kids, or younger men, mostly, who are looking at jail time over hacking and computer-related crimes, not victimless crimes in most cases, and in some cases just for being journalists, as is the case of Barrett Brown. He's the other person we're nominating. Barrett's looking at 40 years in jail.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we're going to be honoring those 2, and we're expecting a lot of media attention. I'm already getting a lot of requests on media about the DPH and this awards show, so it's
good.
You know, there's a lot going on. I can't wait for that night. It's going to be a huge night. I can't wait to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, too. And, man, you know, I want to thank you for all these years of, you know, keeping me abreast of what's going on politically, especially in Boston. But you also get into the national news, too. And I want to tell everybody, if you don't know Mike Can, you got to know Mike Can. Just type it in. Google him. Everything will come up. This guy's got hundreds and hundreds of videos. And some videos are out there. Some videos will make you go, wow. Some videos you'll just get mad as hell. But check him out and check out his show, Two Hotheads on
Where Activism
Happens. That's right. I know. I fucking KOP. I always got to slap myself. I know. But
Come over here. I'll do it for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know you'd love that. God. Oh, even on the radio. But anyways, Michael,
I love you, brother. Thank you so much for filling us in. I hope you continue listening to the rest of the show. We do have a big show in store. We got, right after you and after this break, we got Rich Tavaleri from CanAmed Boston coming on to talk about his practice and what they're doing and what they're going to be under this law, as well as that.
Can you ask him this specific question for me?
Go ahead.
This is a big question. Ask him if he thinks the regulations will put him out of business in terms of being able to write recommendations.
Well, you're funny, Mike. What is this? Great minds think alike. I have that as my top priority to ask him. Yes, I will ask him that when we bring him on next.
I consider them that, CanAmed, I want to put this right up there because I think people on our movement sometimes say the wrong things on what's the truth reality. And CanAmed and Casco Bay and other doctors groups like them are lifesavers and heroes for helping patients and writing these recommendations.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen on
They're
that.
taking a risk for very little money.
What are they doing? They're helping people, I mean...
Yeah, for short money.
Yep, for short money.
It's a shame the other doctors won't help patients.
It is a shame. And I am going to get into it at some point, what happened to me with you. I had a bad rap with my own medical doctor when I went, and he knows that I smoke. He knows I'm the king of pot. He knows about my stuff. The studies that they teach him, like it's equal to 5 cigarettes. I've showed him where that's debunked. I've showed him everything. He's really opened up his mind. But when this law passed, and I tried to approach him about giving me a recommendation, you wouldn't believe what I went through. So it was crazy, and shame on those doctors who just don't get educated and learn and step up to the plate and say, this is a medicine. We're giving out stuff that can kill people, and this is so less toxic than anything out there. I just don't understand it.
I'm curious to know if there's anybody in this state so far that has actually gotten a recommendation from their own primary care doctor.
Yeah.
Is there anybody out there?
Is there anybody out there?
I know one. I've had dozens through the process.
Yeah.
And so far, out of like maybe 20-plus people that I've worked with to get recommendations.
Really?
Help them out.
Really?
One person.
Only one.
Wow.
I know a lot of people that have gone and asked their doctors and they've gotten turned down.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah, every single one.
Yeah, even the ones, like you said, they're all sympathetic to it. They all know it, but they...
yeah, but when it comes time to put the pen to the paper, they won't do it.
Yeah,
no.
Some of them have orders not to.
That's right.
They're working through partners or Mass General.
Yep.
There's been, this is what we need to report on. Basically, these hospitals, these large groups have told the doctors, do not write recommendations for medical marijuana.
Do not write recommendations. Yeah, well, that's what was told to me by a nurse practitioner at my doctor's office. She said, we're not honoring medical marijuana. We don't believe in it. That's what I was told. And how can you do that? But you believe in all those other medications that when they come on, they tell you they're going to kill you.
Here, have some Adderall.
Yeah, Adderall, like they're feeding my daughter. Legal cocaine.
Right? Is that addictive?
Of course it's addictive, dude. But they don't say it's addictive. They say, of course. But they don't say that. They say, oh, you get dependent on it.
It's not addictive. It's dependent.
It's dependent. Yeah. What's the fuck is the difference here? Dependent or addicted. Same thing. Same thing. Different verbiage. That's it. But listen, man, I definitely got to get, we are running over time here. I love you, bro. You take it easy. You keep doing what you're doing. I will definitely see you on April 19th. And again,
the 23rd.
The 23rd is the award show.
Yes.
And then on the 19th, we've got the hearings down in Boston, Mass. And we urge everybody that lives in the Massachusetts area to come on down with us. And again, Mike, why don't you give them again that information?
It's on Facebook. It's Mass Department of Public Health, public hearing, April 19th in Boston in the headquarters. You can find it on Facebook. Look us up, Two Hotheads. Where activism happens. We have a group. Just sign up for the group and you'll find the event.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much, Mike. We got to go to a break. We thank you for coming on. And we are now going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Rich Tavaleri from CanAmed. So stay tuned. You're live at the Counterculture Radio Network here at KOPProductions.com.
Broadcasting from Boston, Mass. KOPProductions.com. Counterculture Radio. Open your mind.